Friends, these old mountains, they are just so old. Among the oldest mountains in the world. As old as time itself here on earth. And you look up in these places and you always wonder, what's in that hollow? What's in that ridge? And the vastness of it. And I'm a firm believer in some places the Native Americans haven't never stepped. And sometimes there's things in these woods that don't want to be seen, that's always been there, good or bad. And people say, oh, you're crazy, Donnie. There ain't no such a thing. Well, you'll never know until you witness it or it happens to you. But there are things in these woods that don't want to be seen. And I've witnessed things many times myself, and I know a few old hunters have been in these woods for 40, 50 years. You've noticed stuff. You notice places sometimes like you're being watched, and you notice that none of the animals is making no noise. The birds is not singing, just something ain't right. But this don't happen all the time. I'm going to share a little story with you that happened 40 years ago this month, back in southeast Kentucky, of a strange sighting. Now people call them Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever, but here in these old mountains, we just call them boogers. Old mountain boogers. So I'm going to share a story with you the best way I can. Now this Bigfoot report happened in Bell County, Kentucky, southeastern part of Kentucky. Here's the rugged Pine Mountain, Cumberland Mountain range. Some rough country in there, I'm telling you. But it's some good hunting too. And this is just a report that's turned in 1982. I didn't even know it existed till I seen it on some research records. And here's the location of it. It's right just inside the Kentucky line, between Kentucky and Tennessee. Highlighted right here is the mountain, Fonde Mountain. I've done a lot of work in the mining industry right there, just south of that. But this is the location, and it is some rough country. Now I reckon they reported this. This has been happening for a little bit in this period of time. Now this is your first reports of it. But people, some strange things going about a month before. People squirrel hunting, noticing stuff. They would hear stuff following them around, or something big breaking stuff off in the woods. But they couldn't see nothing. It was just out of seeing distance. Now that was the start of it, probably September. And then people started having trouble in their cellars and their smokehouses getting broke into. Stuff being messed up and stolen. Meat out of their smokehouses for sure. And even one night, somebody screaming, and they'd seen it was looking through the window. Well, that's a scary sight right there. What a sight. But that's what I was told in the report. And some kids late one evening playing basketball and on their way home up the old road. And they noticed something moving around the edge of the road there just below it. And when they got up there, they looked off in the woods a little bit. And there something stepped out from a tree, was watching them. Said it looked like an ape, with his eyes was glowing. Looked like it stood 8 foot tall. They couldn't stand no more of that. It gramped at them, and they took off running as fast as they could towards the house. But nobody would believe what they seen. Well, This went on, little sightings like this went on for a few days or a week or so. Well, some old guys, some old veterans, Vietnam veterans, they hunt these mountains all the time, and they're going to do some coon hunting. And they wasn't none of them stories keep them out of them mountains. So they headed up these old hollers one evening with their dogs. It was a foggy evening. They headed up these old leaves that's just coming off. They headed up these old hollers. Listen to them dogs run. What a beautiful sound. Way up in the old holler. Waiting for them to tree. And before long, they heard one treeing down in there. Well, they thought they heard one treeing. They listened, and it got quiet. Well, what happened when they heard, what in the world is that? What in the world's that sound? Then all of a sudden they heard their dogs a fighting something, going at it. All kinds of noise going on around there. What in the world's going on up there? I heard one, whatever it is, it's killing their dogs. One by one, they're just going quiet or running off. Well, we got to get to them dogs. So they tried to work their way up that ridge over into that holler. And it's dark and everything. They're trying to get up there to it. And all of a sudden, they looked up the ridge, our ridge top. And what is that? You could see the image of it in the outline of the sky. And it was growling at them, like they heard that sound before. Well, they had enough of that. Heck with them dogs. They headed off that mountain as fast as their feet would carry them and got out of there. Well, now that was all else was reported in the sighting. But I'm sure there's probably other things going on that just never was turned in. People kept it to themselves. They didn't want to be laughed at or made fun of. But I reckon things died down, and as time went on, things went back to normal. Now these creatures, whatever they are, you could see here that they could move off in some deeper areas or another section. It's unlimited, the country in these mountains. So they could stay hidden, come out only when they want to. Now the Native Americans know these creatures. I've read stories on them. They always thought they was protectors of the forest. But like any other creature, there's good and there's bad. So the only way you'd ever prove something like this is not by sightings or witnesses. Somebody pull in a truck, pickup truck, drop the tailgate, and there in the bed, lay in the bed is one laying there. That's the only way you'd prove something like this. And they would still deny it. But a lot of people in these mountains over the years have seen reports of stuff like this. But they keep it to themselves. And they're honest, God-fearing, hard-working people that was born and raised in these mountains. But they don't want to be made fun of. They just keep it between friends or family. Now, I had the same experience in the late 70s, early 80s, not probably 10 miles the crow flies south of there. But I never seen nothing. I just seen something moving through the woods, but it's like it was invisible. You could see that at the end of this video, the video on that. So I want to thank y'all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. God bless, and I'll see you next time.